it's a variable. Can be height, can be grade. That was the time I was trying to. I used the age of my students, and then we are there's 1, there's 2 score. Just playing with that. That's the way to learn. But you know, most times you don't go like really like.
Make it to wake up. So the mic for this one.
So you have a mental condition like
just
your design and analysis. Most times we do analysis of experiments. How do treatment affects the outcome of your experiment under some conditions, or call it some constraints. So SPSS can do that. There are lots to do there, so look at the time point, and the reason why I don't really want to spend time on that time point, time series analysis is not included at all. Time series for those in economics, econometrics, use time series, projecting, those are the terms in it. So, can be height of animal, can be weight of animal, all those things can be variables, something that varies. Then you now have the just associated then you define the variable. As I said, I will limit it to numeral because that's what I've never used string before. So instead of wasting time on things that don't, so we go straight to where things that actually really matter. Sometimes people use straight. With decimal. So SPSS will give you the option to increase or decrease the number of decimal points. I don't want to, like, especially when you are working with the categorical data. That categorical data is not data without and we call it CP. So you want to plot the line. And if you use SPSS without line adjustment, you will see 20.0. You have to increase the decimal point so that you have 20, 30. So SPSS is good. And then the name. So I will show you the easier way to code them. Because not everything is as a variable name. Numeric is what 99%. Those that use SPSS. So if you have variable type 2, we'll get there. I will tell you what this means. When you place the variable, this variable, for an example, you also get it there. Go to the variable field, type A. You can decrease the variable. No, there is no data here. So type A in the variable field, the first row. You have A. You see the number of decimal. Then click that variable name. Click that row. Click type. The type there, the variable type is on default. The type is numeric. On default.
So are the two
But the values are numbers.
the type of data.
The values are 2, 3, 4, 8, 1, 7.
No, the other one is
So that's one of the things. If you name the variable as numbers, it will not go. Then we have that to describe the variable. Okay, so we are limiting to numerics. Then of which we can have the number of weights.
Look at the examples. Who can give us examples? I gave the example that quantitative. So I need an example that quantitative. I give you an example. Income.
1, 0, 1, 0,
Another
1,
one.
0.
I
You get it just 1. And if it's like 100, that is 3. But most times you increase it to 4. You understand? Yes. Then if the data is 1.2, all of them are 1 decimal place. What do? You limit the decimal place to 1. You see the 1, you limit it to 1. You can increase it, you can decrease the decimal places. You can increase it, you can, but if it's questionnaire, that's why I prefer that questionnaire. Questionnaire, we don't do decimal, you just put that decimal 0. And then you work, but what you have is 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, when you put questionnaire, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. Maybe male, 0, female, 1, age, less than 30, you can put it at 0. Between 30 and 50, you put it as 1. From 50 above, you put it as 2. So 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. That's the data. So we've not included any data. That is the variable. Yes. Okay? So you can also label it. When you click label, you can say height or weight. You can type it there. Height or weight or age or anything you want to work with. That is the type. This is numeric. Numeric. See? And close it. We're working on numeric also. question. No, that's it. Don't put H there. Because most time you keep changing the variable name. You can, like what I do, for example, if I have questionnaire from 1 to 30, maybe the first one is age. I will just name that first one Q1. The second one might be gender, Q2. Then I will come to the description that place and now age, gender. So I'll make it uniform, Q1 to Q30. So that it will not be confusing. So that's how it's done. So Q1 can be age, Q2 is Q2.
No, they can use it.
That's what we are. Even if the questionnaire is sectionized, I will maybe section A, B, C. For that A, I will call it A1, so A3, A1, A4. But then I have the second section of the questionnaire. I'll start B2, B2. When I enter the third section, I have C1, C2, C3, so that it will be easier for me to run analysis.
So, are we there? So it's a matter of choice, you know, how to name it. But that description is important. Why? So that when you have put the result, you can actually see if it's pi square, pie chart, you can see the description, the name there. If it is bar chart, you can see description there. So that is for that. Then we will not look at missing values for now till tomorrow when I come up with a live data. So if there is internet access, I can maybe hook on a Zoom so that everybody will be seeing my screen and I'll be doing the analysis. And after that, you will do yours. Or I think I should prefer Zoom so that we can be able to see everything very well. So this is the output. So go to the data view. When you go to data view, you now see that A now will be on top of the column. You can impute 1, 2, just put any 10 values there. Yes, under A, yes. That column, yes. It's column. You can 1, 2, 3, 4. No, value. Yes, it can be with one case. You know, if it is questionnaire now, one questionnaire will be everything here. The second questionnaire will be everything here. You understand? So I think I will come up with a questionnaire. So it will be easier. I think I have one data of questionnaire. So I will share the screen. You see the questionnaire, and you see the data generated. And then we run cross-tabulation and the rest. So I think with that, it will be easier. Practice. We have to practice it instead of explaining and explaining. With that data now, we are ready for analysis. So, but we are not going for analysis now. Okay, this still different variable types, definition, you have numeric, you have comma, you have dot, you have scientific. But we are, instead of us wasting time on this, we go straight to numeric. This is string. You know, string means number, alphabets, like A, B, C, D. In data mining, it's used for network analysis, for text mining. So we are not actually going there. Okay. So the string is like, let me use example. In maybe you are doing design of experiment. You label you grouped the subject into 4 groups. You now say this is group A, this is group B, this is group C, this is group D. You understand? So if you don't want to choose the individual data generated, you can use these string values. A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, 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 C, A, you know, something like that. But most times we use numbers. What I did, that's very important question. Please listen. If you have a questionnaire and you have 3 options and then the 4 options are others, it's the same thing. What I do is that the first value, I will code it as 0. The second value, I code it as 1. Why do you do it? We have discretized it. You know, that is ordinarily, that others is continuous variable. Because somebody can put, 80 values. Let me give you another example. When JAMB are releasing results, they will try as much as possible to discretize it. Why? If JAMB want to release the main result, 3 hours, they are still on the result. What do? They say 50% score above 200. So whether 201, 200, 400, all of them are in that range. So if I have questionnaire that have 1 option, 2nd option, 3rd option, others, I can code it 0, 1, 2, 3. That 3 will be others. So I will show us how to name those others. Okay? So, have I answered the question? Okay. So any more questions before we move on? Okay. And you know, when you are designing questionnaires, you need to meet an expert on that area. So, like now, let me give you a typical example. There's no way some people will put their real age. So, if you write real age there, nobody. Put 41, put 38, nobody. So you will get bias data. So what do? You put it in a range. Below 30, between 30 and 40, between 41 and 50, above 50. So whether somebody is 99, is still above 50. It's the same thing. You understand what I mean? So why coding it? You now say 0 or 1 will be everyone below 30. From 31 to 40, you code it as 2. From 40 to 50, you code it as 3. Then above 50, you code it as 4. So with that, you can't, you run away with so because if you ask that questions, you might not get the true refresh. I know in statistics we say that sample must reflect the true nature of the population. Yeah. It's okay. You can. Remember, I taught math 114. Yes, I taught math 114. And that 114 is introductory statistics. So it's descriptive statistics. So data can be arranged in 3 formats. 1, non-frequency. 2, grouped. 3, ungrouped. So that one range is grouped. We have formula for mean. You can estimate it. Where you use midpoint, you can have mean, median, mode for grouped and ungrouped. So it will still estimate the main thing. You know how I know that is? It will first of all told you this is the mean range. And you now find out that the data must lie between, maybe it's between 30 and 40. At the end of the day, it can be 36.1, which is the whole mean or mode. But it must lie within that range of the mean or modal class or median class or the mean class. Is that understood? So you have, when the data is continuous, we'll try to group them. You understand? Yeah. Then when it is discrete, we use ungrouped. So we have different formulas for that. Okay. So any more questions? Okay. So let's continue. So as I said, I hardly use string. So I've not even seen any of my colleagues. String is, if you are working with maybe network analysis, we try to make everything numerical. Why? Because most of the research we do involve testing of hypotheses. Okay. So when I'm teaching Math 1, 2, 3, which is statistics 2, we try to, let the student understand that we can find the correlation coefficient, especially using the Spearman rank of string. Like now, if I have data of maybe score in jump. No, let me not use score in jump. I can say age. Is age related to, or there's a way I will put it. I will give them the data of whether somebody is primary, secondary, and nursery or tertiary institution. So we can tell them, okay, start, if it is Spearman rank correlation, you rank maybe from nursery school, you start it with 1. Primary school, you rank it with 2. Secondary school, you rank it as 3. Then tertiary, you rank it as 4. So in that instance, you can use string value. But most times, we don't use strings because the data we generate are usually numeric. Data generated through observation or experiment. So this is the main thing we do. As I said there, you can change the variable type from numeric to string or to comma delimited. You can change the width, maybe the decimal point, the type. So the SPSS is very flexible. So it gives you room to change the variable type and values. So this is the same thing, variable, but an example will clarify the whole thing. By the time we look at an example, this is date, this is $sign, this is restricted number, and this is variable property label, a brief description of, I've said something about this label. Like I can name my own A, B, Q1 to Q30 if it's questionnaire design. Then in the labeling, I will now start labeling. Maybe Q1 will be age, Q2 will be gender, Q3 will be maybe educational level, Q4 could be, maybe the first 5 are demographic variables or data. Then before I now start with the main question, are you okay with this? Yes or no? And then the rest. Okay. So that is why that label. Why do we have the separate icon for label? Because SPSS will not take the name. If you put name, there are some names, I think something like frequency. It will ask you to change the name. And most times, some people get confused, but you have to linearize it. You use codes that you can easily remember. Because when you are running questionnaire, maybe you want to test correlation between variable 25 and variable 28. You just say cure 24 versus cure 28. It will be easier to manipulate data that way. So why I'm skipping a lot of things here is that by tomorrow I will bring us factor analysis. It's not part of the module here, but you know we in sciences we make use of factor analysis a lot, so that we quickly rush over factor analysis and then other correspondent analysis. We'll do that tomorrow. It's not included there in your manual, but I think it's needed because most times, especially undergraduate project, theirs is to use factor analysis for, especially those in estate management, is architecture and building. Then values. This is very important. So let's go back and create, I think something is. Let's go back and create another variable B. Let's create another variable B. And then in this B, go to the data and just put 01, 01, 01, 10, 01. Just let's create, because I want to tell us how to assign values. Let's create another variable B. And then you go to the data, create another variable. We've created A before. Okay. This is B. Oh, no, sorry. Sorry. This is the data. Sorry. This is the variable. Sorry. Create here. This is A. This is B. I said this B. In that B, reduce the variable, the decimal to 0. So that you now come here and have assign any value up to 10. 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, no, 1, enter. 0, no, 1, only 1, only 1. No. 1, 0. I want the B to contain only 1, 0. Only 1 and 0. Is that okay? Reduce the decimal to 0. For that B, the decimal has to be 0. The weight, you can leave it like that. Just make the decimal to be 0. Then go to the label and label it as gender. For that B. Go to the label and label it as gender. Go to variable. A, B, B, A, the second one, B. Sorry. Reduce the variable, the decimal to 0. No. Go the B. The B has to be 10, 10, 1001. No, go to the variable view. Here to 0. Name it gender. Are we okay? Yeah, it's okay. Are we done? Are you there? Then you go back to the variable view. Then go to values. No, click values here. Click it. Yes, on that values for B, click on values. 0 is equals to male, 1 is equals to female. Yes, 0. Type here on label male. Here, male. Then add. When you do that, that's what we do here. You add it. You have 0, 1, male, female. Okay, sir. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, it's okay. Then, okay. Yes, we are good to go. That's how to assign values. So if it's a questionnaire of yes, no, strongly agree, 5, agree, 4, undecided, 3, disagree, 2, strongly disagree, 1. Very simple. So let's type variable C. Variable C, reduce the decimal point to 0. Yes. Then in the label say, are you okay with the policy? Are you okay with the policy? No, the label will give space. Yes, the label will give space. Are you okay with this policy? And go to the values. With the policy, are you okay with the policy? Then, in the values, it says 5, strongly agree. You add it. 4, no, use SA, strongly agree. You know, you can, I usually use XA. Agree, 4, you add it. 3, undecided or not sure. You can say undecided, not sure. I'm coming there. Then 2, disagree, D. Then 1, strongly disagree, SD. 4 is agree. 5 is strongly agree. 3, undecided, or you can say not sure. 2 is agree. Are you there? 1 is XA, strongly agree. No, 5 is SA, strongly agree. 2 is, okay, I'm coming. Yes, you come here, sir. See values. Okay, you can say 5. Strongly agree. So let me use capital letter. Strongly agree. You add it. Have you seen it? Then 4, agree. You add it. 4, agree. I'm coming. Then 3, undecided. You can use undecided or you can use not sure. This is type, in that value here, type 5. Then here, SA, strongly agree. Then add it. Then come back, agree. Okay, are we there? 1, strongly disagree, SD. Okay, okay. You know, this is ordinal data. There is order. That is strongly agree. At the end of the day, okay, I will bring live data tomorrow. at the end of the day, if the mean it turns into like, you know, from 1 to 5, the mean is 2.5. If the mean, there's something we call mean ranking in explorative data analysis. If the mean is 4.2, that means most people shows strongly agree. But if you calculate and the mean is 1.5, it means that most people shows strongly disagree. So that is how to, or anyone, me I prefer the agree to have more weight. It can be other way around. Okay? It can be other way around. You can start your strongly agree as 1. But me, I prefer from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's how to impute data there. Okay? So, let's continue. You can have cases of missing data. But most times what we do, what I do when I have cases of missing data is to find the median. Like if I have a questionnaire, for example, and we have issues of non-response. Okay, you know, this is what I'm talking based on experience. In statistics, there are a lot of ways we call imputation methods in handling missing data. But the easiest way is to replace the missing data with the median. You know, most times they will ask you the mean. And the mean is wrong because the median is in statistics we call that the median is a robust statistic. Robust is that it is immune to the effect of extreme values. You know, what I mean is that if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 100, that 100 will affect the mean. So the mean will give you something that is not representative of that data. But the median will make sure that the extreme values are not included. Because if I say 1, 2, 3, the median is 2. Okay? But if I say 1, 2, 100, or 1, 2, 101, so it will be 101 plus 2 plus 4, which is 105. So if you divide it, it will give you mean of 30 something, which does not reflect. And why am I saying that? In sciences, sometimes during experiment or observation, maybe you are taking observation and the machine is faulty. You're supposed to be having data 11.1, 10.9, 8.9, and suddenly you see 32.6. That 32.6 will negatively affect the result at the end. How do we do that? You replace that value with the median of that group. What do I mean by the median? Median means that at least to some certain extent, most of them. It's because if you have 0, 1, 0, 1, the median will be like 0 or 1. So you replace that value with zeros or with 1. Why am I saying that? The process of doing that using SPSS will affect the interpretation. Like in SPSS, you can assign -99, you can assign, but I am always talking on the basis of research because that is my area. Why? I have some paper, I have a paper like that, we have many missing values. And when the reviewer say, how did I deal with the missing value? I say that I replaced the missing values with the median. And then the reason is that the median is, resistant to the effect of outliers or extreme values. And the paper was accepted. So, but if it is not academic, you can use anywhere by SPSS. But I am talking here because of research, because most of us here are likely deep in research. Even if you are an administrative board, you can, administrative staff, you can finish your master's with the papers, you cross over. So it is needed. So if it is paper you are writing, and you tell them that they will not listen, they want a peer review reason. The peer review reason is that median will not, adding median will not affect the result. The result will still be okay. But if it's questionnaire design, how do you reduce the non-response? What do I mean by non-response? You give somebody questionnaire, it fills number 1, it didn't fill 2, it filled 3, it didn't fill 4. The reason is there should be supervision. You are not the one that will, most times we try to economize, minimize cost. What I do, most times I use the student. Okay? I say, okay, you go to COE, you go to this. I try to use as many people as possible. And they will, after filling the questionnaire, say, hey, sir, please, you didn't fill this number 3. Okay, I forgot. The person will fill it. Because if you have many non-response, it will affect. Especially if it's PhD thesis and it's not tolerated at all. The non-response will be minimum, at least 5%. That means you are supposed to have 95. But during this COVID-19, you can cite that the effect of COVID-19 limited. You can say that the effect of COVID-19 limited I'm supposed to get 300 sample size, but I'm able to get 185. You can cite that the effect of COVID-19 is allowed, because most organizations, if you want to take data in organization, they won't have access to. Even if you use email, they won't reply. Has anyone experienced that? Those guys, they will prefer hard copy, yet they won't attend to it. If you send email, they will not. So it's a limitation. It's allowed in scientific research. Okay? It's a limitation. So what to take away here is that you replace the missing values by the median, and then you state it on your research. You look for the citation that quoted that median. Yes? Oh, I'm not with my laptop. One is like, you can have somebody like, I don't know the year, there's one they call Tukey. There's a Tukey by weight. Tukey, I think 1977 or something like that. Tukey is the main man that works in this area. Okay? I think Tukey, T-U, like Turkey, removing R. T-U-K-E-Y. I think, something like that. Non-responses transmit to missing values when you are now coding. Yes, if what I usually does is that, why imputing data? Like a data that's supposed to be 0-1, you can see 0-11, isn't it? Maybe it's a questionnaire design. Instead of 0-1, you can see 1-0. Maybe it's a mistake. The value is supposed to be 0-1. So ordinarily, when you are scrolling down, you will see value 10. You understand? So when you do the analysis, the way SPSS we had put it, as well if we have coded 0 as male, 1 as female, it will just leave that 10 alone if you see the result. So with that one, you can now come there to that column, and you can just click Control F, that is Control Find, to find that value. Maybe Control Find 10. You now go to that 10. That 10 is likely it is 1. Maybe you are fast feeding the data. You just write 1 0. You understand? It happens to me. Like if it is 0 1 2 3, sometimes I type 33. It can be 33. All those things are the things that causes. So if you analyze, if it's a research that is supposed to be 0 1 0 1 and you have 11, can't you see it has affected it? It will give you a mean that is not a representation of what you want. So what you do, you go to the column, like this column here, and where you have the data, and you click Control F, it will find it. Then when you click Control F, you type that value, and maybe it is 11. It will go, maybe, why I'm saying that, maybe the questionnaire is like 800, so you can't start, scrolling down arbitrarily. It goes straight to that, and then you can now change that 11 to 1 or that 10 to 0. Is that okay? So the question is that non-response leads to missing values, because if you have questionnaire that have 10 items and somebody fill 9, that remaining 1 now has become a non-response. It's non-response when you are getting the data, and it become a missing value when you have inputted it in the software. I have said that you replace that with the median, and then you state it there that she was asking me of a citation. I think I could remember Tukey, but Tukey is quite old. You can go to Google Scholar and then type that statement. Median is a resistant or robust statistics in survey. It will bring out a lot of people that have worked on that area. Okay? You can choose the most current. In writing your thesis, it has to be 5 years. Most of 80% of your references must be, if you are writing PhD thesis in Covenant, and all your references are 1981, 1977, 1963, it is not acceptable. At least 80% will be the papers published the last 5 years. So that's what you do. You look for the current statistics. It's wrong to maybe cite Tukey 1977. So I think there might be newer people that have worked on that area. So I know why I'm spending time on missing values, because everything you do, especially for PhD defense, you must state the reason. Especially if you have a very smart external examiner. He will ask why your name is like this. You must give the reason why your name is not supposed to be like this. Because you are being trained. As an academic, we don't, apart from spirituality, in academics, you don't expect to believe everything. You have to sometimes question. Why 2 divided by 4 is equals to 0.5? Why not 5? The question might be stupid, but someone out there is learning. Because by the time I make mistake, I've already taught others how not to make that same mistake. Because somebody has to make a mistake for others to learn. Okay? So missing data, missing values is very, the way to deal with it. There are a lot of methods, we call it imputations method in statistics. You have, I think, Hoyce and Neck and co. But the use of median is generally accepted because you have a literature to back it. So when you analyze your data and you don't have a literature to back it up, you better avoid that analysis. Unless if maybe you are just teaching students for teaching sake. But for real research, there must be reason. I gave you a very typical example. For you to use ANOVA, the data must be from normal distribution. If not, we are deceiving ourselves. Okay. For you to use t-value, t-text, and ANOVA text, it must be the data. That's why it is parametric. Then non-parametrics is when the distribution is not normal, but we cannot pinpoint the distribution, whether it is chi-square distribution, whether it is binomial, whether it is Bernoulli. So I'm relating this to research, because that is my key major area. So we've talked about column, yeah. I told you that we are limiting this study to numeric. You understand what I mean? I understand. What they do that is, I don't usually do it in my research. I'll make sure I find a way to code them. Why? Because, computer only understand code. If you say and others, if I distribute questionnaire here to others, I say there's an option that is others. There's no way all of us will fill the same response. Then how will you give it to computer? Mm-hmm. Okay. If somebody didn't submit a response, there's nothing you can do. There's no data from that person. But if, like, after an maybe questionnaire, you have a lot of responses, like I have one, if I'm to code it, it will be like 100. So what I do is that I now, sat down, that one is what we call qualitative. I now sat down and then write the 4 major areas that responses seems to come like. And then I now wrote it that this is how I summarize it. Because that one is qualitative. But what we are talking is anything quantitative that can be coded. Because computer will not understand. Unless if you are doing text mining, which is outside the scope of... but what text mining does is to find a pattern in all the responses. Okay. Okay, you still see missing value.
Yes, because when in that case, you may not, I don't think you may be right to go and use median when all the responses are good and missing value.
That means what you do, you go back to the questionnaire. Maybe the person jumped, like it happens to me. Okay? I have missing. Okay, I understand what you mean. Let's go back. Go to that data. I have experienced that. Go to that. See, you know why that thing happens? Before, you might have filled some data here and deleted it. So when you now deleted it, see, the thing is still showing bold. So what you now do is now to cut it like this, so that it will no longer be showing bold. Like now, it's no longer be showing bold. Is that understood? Yes, I've had a lot of that. So what he is trying to say, when you are imputing data, if you check at the data view, let me use for this example, check the data view. You see now, all of them, these one are not bold because it's not inputted data. If you input data and then delete it, it will still be showing bold. So when you analyze, it will be showing as missing values. But ordinarily, there is no missing values. So what you do is you highlight that. You highlight that and delete. So that the only one that contains data will be the one you will analyze, that will be showing bold. Is that understood? So it happened to me once. I struggled to read because there's no missing data here. So because when you impute, you delete, you input, you delete, that column will still be showing bold. So it's until, and it's usually the last. It's the last page. Yes, it's the last page. It could be up to 4, but until you delete them, it will not be showing them. Okay. What I'm trying to do is to make sure that individually I see what people are doing so that everybody will be carried along. Okay? So I usually, I often deviate from what material given to me because, when you talk based on experience, it's far different than practical, The experience you try to drive, like what he said now, I've experienced that before, okay, and I was able to manage it. So this is nominal data. We are still in understanding the data that we can analyze using SPSS. Okay? Obviously, data from experimental, or maybe experiments, will contain, maybe based on the machine, 11.1, 0.003, 0.05, So with those values, you go, when you are imputing it, you make sure that you assign enough decimal places. If you see that values, so that what SPSS does is that if the values is, like for example, 0.00005, and then you didn't increase the decimal places, when you see the data, you just put 0 there, 0.00. So the data you have must correspond to the number of decimal places. But for questionnaire design, there is still room there, because if you want to find the aggregate of your variables, maybe everything on section 2, you still have to add them and divide to find this. So what I'm saying here is that your data must correspond with the decimal values. If it's a questionnaire design, you can just remove the 0 there. Unless if you are to find the mean of the responses. For example, you are working on a questionnaire and then 4 values are what you use to test for one maybe aspect. It can be the value of that 4 divided by 4. So in that aspect, you can see maybe 4.33333 or something like that. So I didn't know that until what I do is that I say, how do people analyze this kind of thing? What I do before is that I'll look for a question that is somehow most important. That's how we are taught anyway. But until I now met somebody, I was analyzing data for a woman that come from University of Leeds. He said, this is how we do it here. I said, wow. So if you have some variable, maybe in short, her own is like 13 variables. And that 13 variables, we take it as 1. So you add all the 13 divided by 4, divided by 13, and now give you. So one variable, it can be a trait, like in psychology, they can call it neuroticism, and agreeableness, all those personality traits. So something similar like that can be. So let's continue. So don't worry about the levels of measurement. All those ones are controlled by what, like ordinarily if it's questionnaire design, you can't expect me to have 5 decimal places. You understand? Then if it's data from an experiment, maybe you are taking a reading, temperature, obviously that one will have like 2 or 3. So if it is 2 decimal places, and we are not sure whether some are 3 decimal places, the best thing is that you increase it to 4, to cater for all in that category. Okay? To cater for all in that category. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. What happened there is that in that aspect, there's nothing we can do. Like you are generating data, and one is 2, the other one is 2.4. Is it what you mean? Mm-hmm. 8. Yes. So what we do, that's what I was explaining. Before, what I will do, before now, I will just look at the question that appears to have more weight. That's what I was doing. But now the woman said no. The normal process of which I later Googled is that 5, most times it's like strongly agree in all those variables. The 5 of them, you find the mean of the 5 of them. And then that 5 of them will now give you one variable that take care. So when you call that variable, it's that one that will come up. So, and I did it and it was okay. But before, I would just, out of the 5, I said, this is one that appears to capture that research question. But she said that if you do that, you have introduced bias, that you have to weigh all the 5 and then use it to produce one variable. Yes, you add. Like now, if somebody filled 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, it will be that 4 plus 4 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1 divided by 5. That value it gives you will not be that single value that mention that variable. No, you leave it as variables. You leave it at decimal, please. Because most times you do correlation analysis. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You work with the available data and state that was missing. You work with the available data, but you have to state, because the reason why you have to state, if you didn't state it, that non-response has reduced the sample size. You have to state that is missing. It is allowed, but it must be stated. Because if you are working with 80 sample size, I have result of 77. You have to state that 3 we are missing due to this or that. It's allowed. So, any more questions before we go from now? So by tomorrow will be mostly practical. So I will come with a live data and we will be running it. This is how to get the mean. And let me state again, very important, before we continue, anybody can analyze data, but not everybody can interpret it. And that interpretation is where the journal, the issue with journal comes. I wrote a paper, something on externalizing behavior. The paper was published in Helton, I think this year. For each value, I have to explain it. Why is the mean greater than? I have to, and the cite reference. So, because in externalizing behavior, it's divided into 3. You have aggression, you have delinquency, you have hyperactivity. So our result shows that aggression is higher in male than female. You must provide references that stated for and against. So if not, the paper will be thrown away. So I've had a lot of funny experience. So, but if it's core statistics journals, they don't care. Just put the value. And another thing, the key to publishing is your ability to discuss. If you don't discuss, especially in social sciences, we in statistics, that's why I don't like publishing in my own area, because we write few words, but I like publishing in psychology, engineering, computer science, where I have to discuss, relate it. Like for example, in that same paper, some particular age has externalizing behavior more than other. So, and there are some papers that have reported things contrary. So, and I have to give experience. Maybe it's demographics. Maybe those ones consider. So when I search the paper, those ones considered only girls-only schools. But me, I considered both girls and co-educational. So that could have been because most people, anything you write, you have to explain it. Especially when it comes to, unless you don't want to publish in high impact journals. So this program will actually help us. By the time by tomorrow we start getting descriptive, even descriptive results, you have to discuss it. How? If the male are more than the female, what would have caused it? What are the likely? You begin to profess. You know, in discussion, you now talk as an expert. You are now expert in that area. You are now profiling solution. You are now telling this is the reason. It might be that the teachers do not monitor the students well while they are filling the questionnaire. So in discussion, you talk as an expert in that area. And me, I can write paper in any area. What I need is to learn the vocabulary. If you check my profile, I have a lot of papers in different areas. I can write in engineering, I can write in any area. So I look at what is helping me is that data analysis. Ability. If skewness is less than 0, negative skewness, what does that mean? Does that mean that your responses are skewed to the female? Does that mean it's skewed to the right? Those little things are what the reviewers are looking at. When the kurtosis is 3, what is the significance? Does that mean that your responses are clustered around a particular response? Maybe most of them chose strongly disagree, strongly disagree, strongly disagree. You must explain that. If not, you won't have that paper published. So that is one of the key things we are taking out here. You have to discuss your findings. Even as an administrative staff, you are given an analysis to do. You have to explain because your boss does not have time to look at your analysis. What is after? What is the result? What can we do? You have to present it. They are not after the technicalities. You go and worry about that. The after is what is the outcome? What can we now take out from here? But if you just analyze and leave, it doesn't make sense. It has to be interpreted. You understand? So these are the key things we are teaching. Because most times we do seminars in Covenant where we bring the experts. We bring people like Professor Misra. They will come and talk to us, you know. All of them point to the fact of discussion because you are not there when somebody else is reading your paper. What is reading is what you wrote. The person is not in your mind. He is judging you not, and what even makes it worse that if you submit paper to a double-blind review system, it might be your neighbor that is reviewing your paper. The neighbor didn't even know that it's you. So that's why, for me to beat the system, if I want to submit paper to a very tough journal, I will not cite myself so that you will know that it's me. So, because you know Nigerians, we are funny. If you see 4 citations with that, you know it's this guy and this guy, don't want it to have this paper. Me, I will cite myself. I will cite myself only once. I will cite myself only once. So go and worry about it. I will cite like 3 people in my department. The person will be thinking, it could be Hillary, it could be a Dick, it could be this, it could be... Go and worry about it. But if it's the journal school we pay, I will cite myself as many as possible. Because open access tends to be more lenient. So, but I've sent paper, I stayed 2 years before I accepted. And I didn't pay. Stranger. With impact factor. I didn't bother. Because I know it will be accepted. So, that's how life is. Most times, unfortunately, I'm an editor of one journal, I won't call the name. So anytime I see paper, if it's not the average, I've handled papers from Landmark. Yeah. So what I do is that discussion, because discussion is in social sciences, they say that is what you are contributing to the literature, isn't it? That is where your work, there is something they call convergence and divergence. Your work agrees in some people on this area. This is where work say no, it's supposed to be like this. And what help you is ability to analyze your data and interpret it. As I said from the beginning, if you output the other SPSS output, you put it like that in journals, automatic rejection. You have to do what we call data cleansing. You have to check, the way SPSS output result, it will put something funny. You have to sit down, cleanse the data, so that you can be able to sell. Even when you are presenting to authorities, you don't put you arrange it well so that it looks nice. Okay? So that is the key thing, because when I joined Convener University, anytime we're having seminar that has to do with how to write good paper, I will be number one there. I will even eat. I will stay there. And all the thing point to one fact: data. Your methodology will be useless if you might have the best of methodology in the world. And the data is something that will give expression to that methodology by giving you the result you desire. If the data is not okay, the methodology won't make sense. So that is how it is. So we pay by tomorrow. That's why I'm concerned. There is no explanatory factor analysis, but I still have some data of my students, the work they did in factor analysis, explanatory. So that was undergraduate usually, especially civil estate management, where you give the student questionnaire about a factor, and then very many variables. So SPSS will cluster those variables into 4 factors. So we are going to I think that's the first thing we are going to. Is it there? No, I mean, no, I didn't know. I mean, the model given to me. Yes, it's not there, but yeah, I know it's there in SPSS, but it's not on the module because I've gone through the module, and it's needed. So we also look at dimension. We also look at Kronberg alpha. When you are doing survey, if it's less than 0.7, you are in big trouble. You have to go back to the field unless you want to falsify the data. No, in Covenant is not allowed. It has to be for 0.7. Yeah, but you will be silent about it. Data analysis is the most abused aspect of science because you can beat the data to obey what you want, isn't it? That's why, to avoid it, you make sure you have a good questionnaire design. Some tough journal will demand the data. They will run it themselves. So if it is contrary, rejection. So some tough journal, they will submit the data. They will run the analysis themselves. Because they don't want, people trust that outlet. People are, how much universities are investing to subscribe in such journals. So they know that, that's why most times they don't accept papers from Africa. So the best form of academic publishing is data. That's why when Covenant University, we invested so much on data analysis. That's why we have the highest number of papers in data in brief, SCV. Okay? Some journals are coupled it. They will ask for that data. They are not stupid by asking for that data. They will send it to one reviewer in China. The reviewer will now use the data reproduce, because every good experiment must be reproducible, must be replicated. When you write something, even your PhD thesis, someone else had to replicate that. If somebody have your thesis and your data, you have to, is ordinarily person supposed to have your result. But when you give me your result and I'm getting different something, that means there is there is problem somewhere. But we ensure integrity. And one of the ways I ensure integrity for myself, after analyzing your data, immediately I send you the result, I delete it from my system. I won't see it there again. So that I will not be tempted to remove something and republish it, because it's a form of academic dishonesty. And if it is discovered, you lose everything. If you are editor, they will remove you. If you have some papers, they will just delete. So we have to maintain strict academic honesty. That's why I say, when you have your result and you find out that the Kronberg alpha is small, you better go back to the field. You know, it's better. If not, in future, somebody will work on that data. Because a time will come when, as you are submitting your thesis, you are submitting your data. That is it. So that an assessor will look for someone in Japan and ask her, reproduce this thing. And if the person could not get the same result, that's the end of the thesis. So let's continue. So you have different scale. Like in questionnaire, we usually do with Likert. Likert. Where it can be 5 level, 5 scale, where you can have strongly agree down to strongly disagree. It can be yes or no. So it's those in psychology, sociology that we explain better. But no matter the scale, the most important is the coding. Because if you are to code 01 and then mistakenly you add 2, SPSS will not analyze that. Because, you know, computer is garbage in, garbage out. So you have to make sure that you cleanse the data. So I will show you how the data will be cleansed, so that when there is issue of missing data, you will know what to do. So these are the different icons. You will see them, but I think when we look at an example, I think I still have some data here. We'll just do the practical so that everybody will be following. So this is very satisfied, neutral, excellent, good. So it can be, but me, I'm usually okay with strongly agree, undecided, or yes or no. Then, let me state here, very important. There is no general format on knowing the analysis tool to use. The analysis is based on the data. For example, if I want to run logistics regression, that means I'll make sure that one of the questions will give me 2. If I want to run binary logistic regression, I'll make sure that some of the questions have only 2 options, yes or no, 0 or 1. So if I want to do binary regression, my data is more than 2, I'm deceiving myself. So for regression analysis, the data is supposed to be on continuous scale. So what most of us do are not regression analysis. It is ordinary regression analysis. There are many types of regression analysis. If it's the ordinary least square, the data, that is the dependent variable, that is the y, must be continuous. Is that okay? And also it's applicable for publishing. If your data is continuous, and you're using ordinary regression, it's okay. If not, You just name it. It's the same thing. You just name it. What I'm using is ordinary. Ordinal regression. Is this? You must only have one dependent for regression analysis. The dependent. You know, you can only have one dependent and many independents. The dependent, that's the key. Must be continuous. Okay, this is different level. I don't think we need that. Calculate mean. I don't think we need this. Measurement level for known. I've talked about all those things. Multiple variables. I've talked about them. Actually, we don't need these things. By the time I look at an example, I have live data of one of my student projects. I will use that to explain a lot of things. So, this is copy data properties. You can export data from Excel to SPSS and then to maybe other data mining tools. But I think CSV Excel is the most important. So these are just, if you have it, you read it. So I think we have to work with this. You can copy this data, but you don't need the names. Let me come here. You don't need to type the names. Okay? Just the gender and height. 1111 2222 1121 5.6 6.4 5.8 6.4 5.9. Just use that to create. Leave the name for now. No, just delete. You can still delete everything we've done and start afresh. Highlight and delete, it will clear it. So that will work. That is the practice question there for us to learn how the data should be coded. You have no, let's not here. Highlight everything. Click here. Click here. No, click here. Right click. Clear. So you can highlight, right click, clear. Or you do it individually. That's how to clear data from the SPSS. Hold on. You can open a new, this thing. You can click open new. But I know why I say that delete, so that I will know if you can experience that missing data. So I know why I said that. You can open as many files as possible. You just go to file, click open, new. You have new. But I usually work with one, so that, because there was a time I used the new old data to update the new. So I lost the data. So since that time, I work with one per time. So you can click the data file, open, or, okay, you already have the data on the data is on the manual. You can have, don't type the name is not needed. The data is there. I think I saw it, somebody typing.
Yes. This one. Don't type this.
Yes? Okay. Go back. No, wait. You don't save. I will
show us how to save data there. You can delete it here, see here. See? Okay, no, let me go there. I'm coming. Clear. This system has. See, it's clear. Have you seen it? I've cleared it. We go back here. We go back here. Now we pick and delete this. Let's go there. This is output, like I really need to have data before. But now, if you want to open
The next question, the two, the question, the genders are not the same one. Some of them are two. So we just do it for all of them.
One is two, and those can choose one as male, two as female.
Okay, I understand.
You understand?
Yes.
You can choose one.
yes, check it, go to the button.
One male, two female. You know, for that height, there is no, for height, we won't have any value for height. Remove the value for height. Yes, height is at the standard value. There is no, remove, reset, click reset. Reset. The one that will have value is gender. The height, you type it like that without any value on the, any value there. So delete all of them. No, it's only that one that can be there. The gender, male 1, female 2.
Male 1, female 2. Then the height, you don't assign specific value because that height is continuous. You see it? It's decimal. So there is no way we can put 1 is equals to this. So you leave the values the same way. Yeah. No, if you want to save it, maybe you want to save it to have it. Maybe it's a refresh. You know, that one too is coming, is another, is the coming after this. So I'm taking it one after the other.
I've already defined this, and this is appearing here as before now.
What you will do? You can start with new one. That's what I said. You start with new one. Go to new.
New sheet.
New data. You can start this one there. That's why I want us to save this one later. You can save it with any name. Okay, I'm coming. Let me. Are we done? But for the height, there is no values. Like it's only the gender. You can say 1 is male or 1 is male, 2 is female. But for height, it's that same value, 1 point something, and the rest. The label is height, and the gender for the first one, height, the second one. The label, height, I say you should not type the names. We don't need it now. Because in SPSS, in that variable name, you can't even, there is no space. It doesn't allow for space. You can check it. Unless if you change it to string. But the reason why I don't want string is because in analysis, most times it's usually numeric we work for. I hardly see any, because if you put a string there, you can't do correlation. You can't do any analysis. Yes, with the other one. So it's numeric versus numeric. You don't need to know. You only type it. Like now, if we want to analyze, like to draw bar chart now, there's no way we can do for that string. You check it. Is there any way we plot or Sagier this one? But this one now we can plot bar chart 1, 2. This one we can plot line graph. So that one is just for knowledge sake, the string. Okay, let me attend to him, sir. Here now, I say you can start new one. Start new one. Leave that one for now. New. Just go there. New. Click the new. Data. You can start this one here. Is that okay? You can variable name A on the label gender. Variable name B on the label height. Then on the values, 1 is equals to male, 2 is equals to female. But for this one, nothing, because it's continuous values. Is that understood? No, the variable names, no. You know, SPSS won't allow 2 variable names. Like if you put height now, I don't think it will take it. What the system will see when you run the analysis is the label. So that you'll be able to know this is important. I think maybe if you have 50 questions, you can now know, okay, this is this question in questionnaire, this is the responses. So if it's questionnaire now, you will now see, is this okay with this? 50 people said strongly agree, 20. You will see it, the question and the responses. You're there? Hmm? No, here A. Just name anything. Yes? No, delete B. This one B. This one A. You come here and then label it gender, height. Okay. Then you put the values. I hope you have already put the values here. 1, click values here. 1 and 2. 1 for male. Yes, here. 1. Type it. 1 is equals to female or male. Anyone. Female. Female. Yes. F. Then add. Then 2. Is equals to male, M. Add. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. Label it. Label it. You know why I insist on that is that most times what you put here, SPSS will not accept it. But this is what I will show in the analysis. Where A will show here, B will show here, because that's the variable name. But that A corresponds to gender, B corresponds to height. It will put it gender and height. Yes. Any more questions, sir? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. No, type it the way it is. We can arrange. Just type it the way it is. This one, I don't want us to stress ourselves by typing strange. Because in analysis, we don't usually analyze strange. That is typing people's name. Unless if we are, maybe it's data mining, we can use text. Okay. So
Wait, let me come over now. Go to the variable distance. Here, okay. Everything is okay now. Everything is okay. I don't think there's any problem. Reduce the decimal on the gender, please, to 0. Reduce the decimal. If not, it will give 1.00, 2.00. Is that okay? Please reduce the decimal on the gender to 0. Then the other one, you can leave the decimal as 1. The height, you know, in all of them here, the decimal are just 1. Reduce it from 4 to 1 for height. For height, the decimal 1. For gender, the decimal 0. Is that okay? So that is an exercise to know that you know how to impute data into the system. Okay.
The link I posted in that time, we have visual notice. You cannot differentiate the classes. So I'll just quickly do this.
Okay, so that they can see the link. Okay. Please hold on for 1 second, and he has some information for us. Please, you have the data on the manual, so you can be typing it while he works on the. Is that me? Okay. Here now, we go here for what we mean. Here now, I can type capital A, then the second one, capital B. No, here. Yes, capital B. Yeah. You know, that first one is gender. We come here and label gender. Yes, the first one. Yes, gender. Enter. This one is height. Okay? Then here now, you know, because this is gender, it has only value 1 or 0. You see now, I've reduced it to 0. Then here now, it's only have 1 decimal place. Then, and I come to that gender now. I can say 1 is equals to female. 1, type 1. Then here, label it as F. Add, then 2. Add male, M. Okay. Then you can now type those values. Yes. You now no, you don't need values, but this one is 1 point, 2 points. So there is no way to categorize them. Then you now come to the data view. And then put the value for gender, put the value for height. You understand? Huh? Okay. Okay. They have the data on their materials. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Right on. Okay. Are we sure we are? Have you registered?
I don't need to waste my time.
If you have tied with them, you don't want to stress off. If you have tied with them, you will like to come last week. So that's why this is a practice. But now, always do that where that can give us results. That is strange means those men can be tied as, because this is how it will appear. Let me show you. That's how it will appear. If you are tied to spring, that is the hand on that of the spring. Because the spring will raise to for space like this. The spring will raise now. So the spring, so this is hand to hand now. You cannot hand to and if you are getting to that, how to tell that to do the spring. Then that one, because what computer understand is that code, one, you are only holding close to computer. Anywhere you see one, assign it to zero. Anywhere you see two, assign it to female. It depends on how, maybe you want to have one female, two male. So this is the height. So the screen there.
Huh? Height. The height.
So, you can
first one, name. Are we done? You can put strings, put the name so that you can learn from that. You can put strings and the name. Go to the variable. The first one, reduce the decimal to 0, the second one to 1. Have you seen it? Yes, 0. The decimal to 0. You can type 0. Or you can use this thing to reduce it. Then the second one, 1. Yes. Okay, now. Yeah. Yes. Want to do that one? You come here, create C. You can come here and say names. Yeah. You come here, change it to string. When you come here, start typing the names. Okay, I think I insist we have the third variable, which is the string, based on what I see now, so that we know how to type string. Although it will not be used for analysis, but we must learn it. It's irrelevant. Yes. You can. If it's no, yes, click it, insert variable. Please, I want the string to be the first, the way it is. So click the first one and insert variable. I want that string to be the first, that is to appear. You click here, insert variable. Yeah? You now come here. I want us to have the string. Okay, let me type it C. You know, it's irrelevant. C. Okay. Okay, thank you. Then you change here. No, between it yourself, so that you change the variable name from numeric. Click numeric to string. Okay. Then go back to the data. And then start typing the names there. Yes. Yes. Just type any name. It must not be this. Just type any name. Here now, see what we do. Here. I want us to have the string. Sorry. C. Okay. Insert variable. See? So let me call it C. It's irrelevant. Then here now, I change this numeric to string. Okay, you can type names there. But for this one now, values. See it here. I can type 1 is equals to F, that is female. 1. No, yes, 1. No. To the label. You move the cursor to the label after typing 1. After typing 1, you see now, click F. F. Then add. Have you seen it? Add. You now do the one second, the mail. 2. You move the cursor to the other one. Or you use shift, mail, add. Okay. Height, you don't need to add any value, just type it the way it is. But see, you have to reduce the decimal size. 0, 1. Yes, you are good to go. Yeah. You can now type the data. Yes, ma'am. Hmm? Yes. Click here. 1, on that one. Right click. Insert variable. Name it C. It doesn't really matter. Name it C. Just you can delete that one later. Let me see. Change the numerics to string. Okay. Huh? Yeah. Okay, because you have already have to delete this. Delete this. Cancel and delete that last one. Clear. So you can do that now. Yes. So if you know how to insert variables, you can insert it anywhere. You see what? If you want to insert above, you see where we click. If it's between 2 and 1, you highlight 2. Yes. You see what we did? Because we want it to be number 1. That's why we clicked on the 1. It will go above. Yeah? No, you made mistake. Go here. Okay. A, B, numeric. Go back. You can cite the name. No, click this one. You can write those names. You can write your name. It will make it to be. Ah! So when we are done with that, we'll go ahead. Wow. Go to variable view. Okay, string. Okay, this is where you write the name. Go to the data. I just want to confirm. This is where you type the third column. You can type any name there. Yes. You can type the one given, or you can type another name. Yeah, it's okay. But if you notice, it is easier in Excel. Excel, you can just click. But the problem with Excel is this is input row. This is the data. This is scale. This is nominal data. It's a part of order. It can be ordinal. You can change the data. Click on it. Ordinal means that it is ordered. Like when we have strongly disagree, we can say it is 5. Disagree can be 4. You see now we've ordered it. Yes. The nominal is that the ordering is not important. But for ordinal, the ordering is very important. This is scale because this is, you see now, this is ordinal, this is nominal, scale. It can be anything, but this is not usually the input. This is where the input, this is left aligned. It can be on the left. You can center it. You can do it right. Yes, you can change it to right. Change it to right. Let's see. Change it to right. No, for that spring. No, the spring. Yeah, the first one. Let's go back. You see it. Center it, let's see. Okay, is it only left, right? Check it. Yes, go back. It's very nice. Yeah. So, please, after typing the string, we will align it. After typing the string, we will align it. Yeah? Please, I want us so that, based on what, align it. Okay, let me, it's not, this is how it is before. Please type so that we align it. Okay. Align, go to, if you want to align the string, it's usually the string that you can. Go to the variable. Under the variable, go to where we say align. Automatically it is left. Click it to center or right. And you go and see the data. It will change. Yeah? Eh? I did it. Wait. John, I don't want to stress you again. Okay, here it's okay. Here now, look at. It's the same thing. Variable view. You come here. Click right or center, align. Align here where my finger is. Click right. Go back to the data. You put it in the right. Have you seen it? Check center. I hope we are following. Okay. So that is the align. If you want it to be centered, if you want it to be left, if you want it to be right, you can center it. No, it doesn't have any. It doesn't have any. It's not like if you want it to look nice. If you want to align that string, you go to align. No. It's string now. You click it, right. Go back to the data. It has shifted to the right. Go back to the data. Have you seen it? Do center. It will center it. If you are typing something now, it will be right. But by default, SPSS leave it as left. That is, when you start typing, it start from here. But in Arabic numera, it start from the right. You understand? I hope you've gotten it, sir. Just type the data. Okay. No, type the names, these names. No, it's because here, you left it at numerals. I said it, you change it to spade. Okay, type now. Madam. Yeah, you are calling me? Put A and B, C so that you now label it well. Yes. It will bring out in the analysis. It's not here. Anything you label it, that's what the computer pick. Then if you didn't label it, it will pick this. You understand? If you didn't label it, it will pick that value. But most times, that value doesn't look nice. Label is the most important. Because that's mean if you are working with many variables, you want to distinguish one from the other. So you can align left, right, center.
The text will move center or left or right. Are we okay? So the label can go center or left. The names here can come to center or left. That is align. You know, in Excel, it's there. In Word, it's there. It's either you center or left, center, right, or justify in Word documents. So are we there so that we can move forward? So, you want me to do it? Okay. Okay. But most times I leave it at left because it's not. It doesn't. Okay. Wow. Then, saving files. Can save now. Yes. But when you save, you can delete it because you can still work on it. You can click save, file, save. Save as. Save as if you want to be specific on area. You saw it when you click save, that icon will pop up. And it will tell you where to save it. You can save it at desktop, document, anywhere. So there's an area they say protecting the file, but I strongly advise against that because, you know, in our end there, you have a password to your email, to the CU website, to module, to portal, to your email. You have a lot of, each now you register, you have password. So you have a lot of things, unless you write it down. But SPSS, if you protect the document and you forget the password, that's the end. That's the end. The best thing is to maybe you have your system, your laptop have password, which only you can have access to. You understand? That one is better. But we have a lot of things on our mind to be using password in everything that we are doing. If not, you can save a data and then you save data and the data is gone. Because without the password, there is nothing else you can do. Hope you're okay, man. Hope you're okay. Okay, man. So you save your data, and the data, when you are opening the data, it will be in a SPSS format. And save your data there. Sorry? Okay. Let's go straight forward. So please, I strongly advise against protecting a file, but you have to learn it if you still want to. You can protect the file with a password. But what I'm advising is that maybe your laptop will have a password. It will be easier for you to, so when you are not around, no one else can have access to your password, to your laptop, except the person could provide the, but for SPSS, why I know the importance of this protecting file is that if it is an ethical research, serious ethical research, that means the file must be protected for confidentiality. Especially when you're working in a risk group, like people that have intellectual disability, which is a very high risk group. Any communications with them must be protected. It's part of HIPAA. I think we borrowed it from HIPAA, US, Health Information Protection Act, 2014. So let me say here In as much as I advise against protecting the file, there should be confidentiality. It's not when somebody gives you data to analyze. Everybody in the department will know you are analyzing somebody's data. There is supposed to be confidentiality. Yes, it's good. If you can, you can go ahead. What if somebody have access to the Google Drive? If you have smart students, there was a day my colleague was typing. You know, he didn't know the student have one remote mirror website. That thing, the student will be here, will be seeing everything on your screen. You won't know. You won't know. See, we have a very smart student these days. Very smart. You understand? They have mirroring softwares. They can use it on their app. The only thing is that they have to point it to your system. If he's seeing your system, everything you are doing, the student is seeing it. I mean it. As long as the device is pointed to your screen, he's seeing everything. You just relax. So if you put all the password, he will and save his Google Drive. He will go to that same Google Drive. And so we have to be smart too. So even if during the exam period, you minimize sending script, emailing it to your colleague. Maybe you and I taught the same course, I set 1 to 3. The best thing, carry your flash to his office, put your own, you do everything. If you do email, it's risky. Those students are very smart. Very smart students. So you can follow that step and protect the document with password. But they said here that, I read it here, that when you protect it, you see it? When password cannot be recovered if they are lost. So that's where I'm scared. You understand? As even if it is recovered, fine. It's okay. But the password cannot be recovered. So it's not like Google that you will say, input your email. They will send you the link. This one, if you cannot remember the password, the data is gone for life. There's nothing that you can do. So you can protect it. It's allowed if you are doing with confidential data. But you must remember the password. Whether the password are case sensitive or not. Maybe you use computer as this thing. Then maybe the C is uppercase. So if it is lowercase, you can't have access to the data. And so if you are running a project, the person has to go back to the field because that data is lost. There's nothing you can do to recover it. So it's left for you. You can protect. You can. But the one I advise, just make sure your laptop cannot be accessed without password. Though mine is not like that because student doesn't work on my system. Yeah. You know, this one is not online. You know, if it's online, your place of birth, this one is totally offline. You can't, yes. Maybe the place of, you already know. So maybe the place of birth should be the best. So nobody can easily know that. So another thing I'm stressing here is confidentiality of your data. Assuming you are in administrative office and the registrar gave you some data to work, and that data has to do with employee details. Even if you are related to the employee, you don't tell them. That's why in some organizations, spouse don't work in the same place because of data integrity. If I'm the VC and my wife is in a department of mathematics, won't I favor the wife? It's natural. There's nothing we can do about that. It's natural. The best thing is to prevent it. The same thing with data. A registrar gives you work to do, and before, in 1 hour's time, all your friends have already known about your family, everything is not allowed. There should be confidentiality. In short, in some aspects, you sign a letter of confidentiality that you will not disclose all the. If you are working for a company, because most companies, they are afraid of competitors. If you have access to their data, they are finished. Because you can easily sell that information to their competitors. See what they are doing, see what they are doing, see what they are doing. So before they allow you to analyze their data, you will sign a letter of confidentiality that you will not disclose the outcome of this data to any person. That if you do that, they will sue the person. Because the way it is going now, data is the real money now. Because if you have access to your competitors' strength and weakness and trade secrets, they are gone. You do the same thing. They are gone. So that's why companies do a lot to protect their data. So you have data integrity, data confidentiality, and you have the disclosure agreement. I can only disclose this to the registrar. You cannot disclose it to any other person. That is one of the things. Even me, if I'm analyzing my student, maybe it's a project, the other student won't know what we are doing. That's the way I do it. Maybe the student, first of all, I will teach them how to do it. I will do it so that if they did it wrong, I will know. So what I do, I've already taught them how to do the analysis. I will go on my own and do it and have the result. So when they brought their own, if it didn't tally, the person has to go back. So on that case, the other student will not know what we are doing unless the day they are presented. So that is part of confidentiality requirements. So we have another aspect of sorting data. How can we sort data? But most times, sorting data is irrelevant. Why? Because most times the computer does not understand the order. What computer understands is the code. Like what I mean, if you like, arrange all the male before the female. It will give you the same result when you compute the analysis. You understand? The order notwithstanding. You understand what I mean? You know, in Excel, you can simply, easily sort ascending. But in computer, as we know, if you are analyzing correlation, if you like, arrange it, it's the same, maybe the output is 0.79. It's the same 0.79. The sorting, notwithstanding. Because, as academics, we are busy with teaching. We are busy with research. So, there are some things that will take our time that we need to avoid. Okay? So, what I usually, immediately the data is available, it won't take me time for the analysis. Most times, we don't need the sorting. Where that I allocate most of my time is on discussing the findings. That is the key, especially if you have done PhD. That is where, whether you sort the data, whether you passworded this is irrelevant. What is relevant is the art of interpreting. And as I said before, the key there is to look for related works that people have done in that area and compare your own result with them. And then you give reasons why your own is different or why your own converts. So there should be 3 outcomes. It's either your result gives the same thing or it gives different. Or a lot of results. We call it convergence in mathematics. Everybody is saying the same thing. The same thing. So your work also say the same thing. Everybody is saying different thing. And your work now say that result, maybe everybody is pointing to, let me use the issue of externalizing behavior. Ordinarily, male appear to have more aggression more than female. But you can do analysis that shows that female has more aggression than male. What will you do in that aspect? That is the data. You now look at how was the data generated. Maybe you took older female instead of, because all the analysis use people in primary school, nursery school, you know, those childhood externalizing behavior. But your own, you took people in tertiary institutions. So in our base, okay, it might be the result is valid because others considered nursery, primary, secondary, but we considered university. Simple. A reviewer reading it. The paper is as good as accepted. So sorting is good, but for administrative work, they usually use Excel for sorting. But for analysis, we hardly, even if it's design and analysis of experiment and over, I will come with live data that I've already, with replication, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, till 0, 0, 0, that is 2 by 3. You will see how the data is being analyzed. So we can sort the data from ascending to descending order. So let's continue. I'm pointing out the key places we need. So I'm trying to just run over the preliminaries. Then from tomorrow, I will now concentrate on the real research academic work. When you now know how to, if your student gives you, it's okay, I don't know how to do factor analysis. I don't know how to do correspondent analysis. I don't know how to check Cronbach alpha. I don't know how to run chi-square test of independence, chi-square test of goodness of fit. I don't know how to do regression. All of them will be tomorrow. So I'll make sure to come with live data. So we put it and then we'll be reporting it. Because that reporting is where I want our attention to be shifted. Without reporting, we've done nothing. That reporting is the key, whether administrative or academic. Reporting is the main thing. Because it is there that we are now contributing to knowledge. If it's for undergraduate, masters, or PhD thesis. So, I will come up with some data so that we'll know how to do this sorting tomorrow. So let's move over to ranking, to recode data into rank, ordering from the smallest to the largest. As I said, this one too is also irrelevant. You know, when you understand how computer works, it makes life easier. Computer works, how the data looks is irrelevant. It is the code given to the data. That's all. If you code all the female, rank all the female before the male, and conduct correlation, you have the same result. You leave it scattered like that, the same result. you arrange the male before the female, the same correlation. It will not change. It will not change. You can go and try that. It won't change. So, let's look at, we have already learned on inserting variables. I gave an example. Assuming you are working, like you see the mistake we did, we started with gender and height. And we now, I want the string variable to come first. So I have to click the first and then right click, and then we will see insert variable. So it always, SPSS always insert variable above the one you clicked. So if I want to replace or the second one, you just click on the second one, you say insert variable. You can duplicate variables. It all depends. But all those ones are rare cases. So, I think a lot of us did that. You click on that variable view, on any of the variable, you right click, you say insert variable. So maybe you are working and then there is a variable that is missing. You easily insert that new variable. And then whether it is numeric or string or otherwise. So that is it. So you can insert any variable. Because this is important. Maybe you are under pressure and you are coding questionnaire. So you forget one question. You say, how am I going to go back? No. You just note where it's supposed to be. You click the variable immediately after it, where it's supposed to be in questionnaire. And then the thing will now produce the variable in the right place it's supposed to be. Yeah. That's why I said, in ranking of cases, I told you that most of the thing I'm saying is, apart from learning SPSS, I'm also, giving you some tips on how to do good research. I said that the computer does not understand order. It understands code. So whether you arrange the variable, rank it from beginning to the end, it will give the same result as correlation, regression. You can try that. I can try that with a data tomorrow. So it will, rearranging it won't change the value. Where ranking is usually okay is when you are working with Excel, maybe employee data, date of birth, this one, you understand? But here, because Excel will not allow you to manipulate the variable. But this one will give you option. Excel automatically. Excel will not show you whether this is a string or numeric. Excel, you can write somebody's name and the value. But this one will not allow that. It's either a variable is numeric or string or comma or others. So I will bring a value, maybe tomorrow when we do correlation. I will rank it from the beginning to the end. We do the correlation analysis. I will return it the way it is originally. We will still do correlation analysis, the same result. So because why I'm saying this is that assuming you are running a PhD thesis and you get your questionnaire, I've already inputted it. You don't need to waste your time ranking it. It's irrelevant. You go straight and your analysis. Go to the descriptive, put all the variables, go to the inference, begin to address each research objective, one after the other. This is how I achieve number one. I use regression. Number two, I use correlation. Number three, I use mediation and moderation analysis. Number four, I use chi-square. Very simple. Okay? So, and if you notice, that's why I said that tomorrow, a If it's not the factor analysis, is not on that. But I say it's needed. So that's why I said tomorrow I will include factor analysis, correspondent analysis, and I will explain that. But these are the tools we use, especially when our undergraduate students, when we are supervising their projects. Yes. You can duplicate variables. Let me give you an example. If, like in a questionnaire now, you find out that the two variables are like it, the same 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I don't want to go back and be typing, creating new variable. You understand? I can duplicate and then change the name. Okay. Extrapolation. Is ethical in some aspect, but the one I know that is really as ethical. Let me illustrate it on the board. You are working with a missing data. You are working with a missing data, and you have, okay, the marker is not. You have data like, then you have one missing value here. You can interpret from here and then read the values. Read the values of y. It's allowed to cover that missing value. You understand what I mean? It's allowed. Yeah. You must be stated. It's wrong. You have to state the method you use. Everything you do for ethical. You know, all this research we are doing are supposed to be replicable. You're supposed to give somebody the data and sit down like this. The person will replicate all the results you got. That is pure research. But if the data is given different, that means it's not a valid research. A good research must be replicable. So anywhere in the world, they pick your data, they got the same result you got. That is a quality of ethics in research. So, my sister, you can interpolate, but you state it. You know, in this aspect now, it will give a new values on y-axis. Is that new values? Maybe you're supposed to have values at y-axis, and for one reason, you didn't have it. So you can draw a line that interpolates this. And then this right now, while you read on y-axis, you can now take it as part of your values. I don't think so. You can use curve fitting. You know curve fitting. You can use it with MATLAB. You know, if you have curve fitting, you know, curve fitting, an example is like a regression analysis. You know what regression does is that it will give you values that are not even. You understand what I mean? When you have regression analysis, y and x, you can estimate the values of y when given any x. So in that aspect now, you can say, okay, that you use regression to obtain the value. Very simple. So, but it must be stated, the method you used. Okay, y equals to MS for C. You know, most times such things does not follow linear. It's sometimes quadratic. Or you understand, it could be cubic. It can be that the curve is like this. So no matter what, you state it. But statistically, we usually use regression. You know, linear regression is the same linear. You know, linear, not, you know, there are different types of regression. Linear regression will still give you y equals to AB, AS plus C. You understand? So you state it. This is the reason. And it's just good for engineering. You know, when you are taking readings and maybe the machine has some issue and you can't go back. It has already generated maybe 10 values, skip 2, have 3. That 2, you interpolate using regression. Very simple. You give it the same value. You have to state that, because the reason why it interpolated is that because you use the data, you didn't do it in isolation. It's that same data you use to draw the regression, and then you report that if on that no regression line, you are now able to estimate the missing values. Okay. Yeah. So, any more questions? So, let's continue. Okay, when is the break time? Because so that we can. Okay, let's have 10 minutes break. So that we can. But we've been talking for like 2-3 hours. Just let's have 10 minutes. We start in 1:55.
A lot of people's emotions about harvest is the end. But I want us to understand that harvest actually means the beginning of a new process, of a new line, of a new thing. Hallelujah.
The harvest is ripe, the fields are white. The harvest is ripe, the fields are white. God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. Thank you for the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
The harvest is ripe.
The harvest is ripe. The fields are white. The harvest is ripe. The fields are white.
Oh, we pray.
God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
Oh, we will plant,
we will harvest, we will glean, we will winnow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will winnow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will winnow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will winnow.
God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. God of the harvest,
send forth your people.
God of the harvest,
God of the harvest,
thank you for
the rain. harvest. Send forth your people.
A lot of people's emotions about harvest is the end. But I want us to understand that harvest actually means the beginning of a new process, of a new line, of a new thing. Hallelujah.
The harvest is ripe, the fields are white. The harvest is ripe, the fields are white. God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
The harvest is ripe.
The harvest is ripe. The fields are white. The harvest is ripe. The fields are white.
Oh, we pray.
God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
Oh, we will plant.
We will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will widow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will widow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will widow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will widow. God of the harvest,
Thank you for the rain.
God of the harvest, send forth your people.
God of the harvest.
God of the harvest,
Thank you for
the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
A lot of people's emotions about harvest is the end. But I want us to understand that harvest actually means the beginning of a new process, of a new line, of a new thing. Hallelujah.
The harvest is ripe, the fields are white. The harvest is ripe, the fields are white. God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
The harvest is ripe.
The harvest is ripe. The fields are white. The harvest is ripe. The fields are white.
Oh, we pray.
God of the harvest, thank you for the rain. God of the harvest, send forth your people.
Oh, we will plant.
We will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will widow, we will plant, we will harvest, we will glean, we will widow, we will plant.
international student from Zambia.
My name is Greta Armstrong Waeke. I'm an international student from Cameroon.
Hi, my name is Tanjun Fonda, an international student from Zambia.
Every day when I wake up in Landmark University, I already feel at home, even being in Nigeria.
Studying here has been an awesome, destiny-molding, and eye-opening experience for me.
Being in Landmark University has made me realize that just by being in a good environment, good things naturally happen to you.
Thank you, Landmark University, for this awesome opportunity I have had on campus. Meeting all these wonderful people and learning so much in such a short space of time is truly a privilege.
I wasn't sure of what to expect on arrival here, but I just had to travel all the way from Cameroon to come and see what Landmark has to offer.
My spiritual life has been immensely impacted by the biblical teachings and the Bible-based principles and the core values of Landmark University. And I would dare say that I caught my vision by being in Landmark University. And all I would say is, oh, what a joy. What a joy being in Landmark University.
This is the amazing Landmark University.
You tell Landmark University!
Toi, Totela, Landmark University. On vient pas.
Location is everything. Environment is everything. A university is indeed more than just a collection of classrooms, lecturers, and students. It's a place of enduring friendships, long-lasting interactions, and cultivation of essential life-applicable values. I have found such a place here right from my first year on campus, an environment conducive for qualitative research and learning. A place that has helped me build competence, capacity, confidence, character, and companionship. I have had great moments and blissful encounters here. I have enjoyed amazing relationships on this ground. Life here leaves one with refreshing experiences and indelible memories that last a lifetime. Truly, our best memories are the ones we make together here at Landmark University. My name is Jessica. This is my amazing Landmark story. Location is everything. Environment is everything. A university is indeed more than just a collection of classrooms, lecturers, and students. It's a place of enduring friendships, long-lasting interactions, and cultivation of essential life-applicable values. I have found such a place here right from my first year on campus.
My name is Adefunke Fola Oyeloye, the privileged registrar of Landmark University. Landmark University, built on solid biblical principles, opened its doors to the first set of students on the 21st of March 2011 with a compelling vision to be a leading world-class university by spearheading an agrarian revolution in the continent of Africa through the exploration of the hidden treasures in the Mother Earth for the purpose of restoring the dignity of the black race. The mission of the university is to raise a generation of solution providers, a new generation of leaders, as well as an army of reformers. Our daily activities as a university are hinged on our 7 core values of spirituality, integrity, possibility mentality, capacity building, responsibility, diligence, and sacrifice. Currently, we have a population of about 3,000 students, having graduated 3,000 students across 23 fully accredited programs hosted by the colleges of Agricultural Sciences, Business and Social Sciences, Pure and Applied Sciences, and the College of Engineering. The faculty staff population of Landmark University is about 750, giving us a fair ratio of 1 faculty of staff to 11 students, thereby creating a very robust and viable atmosphere for interaction between the faculty staff base and the student population. Landmark University is affiliated to quite a number of professional bodies, and we have training certification affiliations with some bodies also. This ensures that persons who go through the Landmark University education do not only graduate with academic qualifications, but also as many professional certifications as they deem necessary. Landmark University is a full-boarding university, and so we call it home away from home because of the in loco parentis role that is played by the faculty and staff of Landmark University. As a parent, if what you have at the back of your mind is academic excellence, spiritual prowess, character and moral building, then Landmark University is the place to send your child. Landmark University, breaking new grounds in education. My name is Omu-Aran, the privileged registrar of Landmark University. Landmark University, built on solid biblical principles, opened its doors to the first set of students on the 21st of March 2011 with a compelling vision to be a leading world-class university by spearheading an agrarian revolution in the continent of Africa through the exploration of the hidden treasures in the Mother Earth for the purpose of restoring the dignity of the black race. The mission of the university is to raise a generation of solution providers, a new generation of leaders, as well as an army of reformers. Our daily activities as
My name is Dr. Ayo Shoyombo, Department of Animal Science, Landmark University. I welcome you to the guinea fowl research site here in Landmark University.
My name is Dr. Olayin Kalabi. I am an animal scientist and I work here in Landmark University.
This research has the collaboration of several universities, among which are the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Nasarawa State University, University of Abuja, University of Ibadan, and of course, the host university, Landmark University. The aim of the research is to improve the guinea fowl species of Nigeria for high meat and egg production. As you all know, that the guinea fowl has remained a species that needs urgent attention with regards to improvement.
Generally, this animal, guinea fowl, they are unconventional. They are not really popular livestock animals because they are yet to be fully domesticated. Guinea fowl are game birds. The literature tells us that we have about 5 million of them in the wild that are unattended to. Whereas we have the chicken, they are fully domesticated and they are well attended to. But looking at guinea fowl, we have several benefits of this animal. Guinea fowl are very hardy, they are flighty, they are animals that they can protect themselves from predators. These animals, they are disease resistant, and then they can adapt to local climatic conditions. and they have very great scavenging ability. The animal, guinea fowl, they have benefits of producing gaming meats. The meats, they have this white animal taste that is referred to as gaming flavor. Aside the meats, the egg is another product that is useful to everybody that consumes it. Then another product from this animal that can be of benefit is the droppings. The droppings can be source of manure, organic manure, for enrichment of unfertile soil. Also, the animal guinea fowl, as you can see them, they are source of incomes to the producers. When you talk about rural dwellers that are involved in the production of guinea fowl, it is a source of food security and a source of livelihood in generating income, employment for the rural dwellers. Now, you see, the animals are unattended to because most of them are in the wild, and we want to research into the animal to improve on them. That is why we have to make a building construction like this for their domestication.
Talking about domestication, the design of the house has been made in such a way that the birds still feel they are in the wild. However, they are already in captivity, so as to enable them demonstrate their natural abilities and tendency. We intend to improve the breed with respect to body weight, growth rate, reproductive rate, and carcass quality. All this and more are what the research seeks to achieve. If you look at the design of the house, you see some aesthetics talking about animal welfare. The metal poles you are seeing, since we know that this animal like to roost, we try to put them in their building to give them that sense of belonging even in the wild. Even some of the blocks, they are also part of the aesthetics that makes the birds to feel they are in the wild. Looking at the dome shape of the building, it is to ensure that there is adequate ventilation so as to give the birds the best environmental condition they require.
In keeping of guinea fowl, the production is at rudimentary stage now. The production is not commercialized, and it is an aspect of poultry that can be explored and can be looked into, that can generate income for farmers. So in keeping them, you have different ways you can keep the animals. It is either you do a small backyard poultry, keeping backyard method of keeping them, or the semi-intensive, or the intensive. Like this place now, it is an intensive system where they are fully in captivity. The feeder, the drinkers are provided for them, and then their medication at times, when there is a need, they are given their medication.
Within the next few years, we would have been able to have guinea fowl breeds that are far better than the ones in the wild, and by extension, would have been able to improve the nutritional status of the entire Nigerians. A landmark university.
We are breaking new grounds.
Location is everything. Environment is everything. A university is indeed more than just a collection of classrooms, lecturers, and students. It's a place of enduring friendships, long-lasting interactions, and cultivation of essential life-applicable values. I have found such a place here right from my first year on campus. An environment conducive for qualitative research and learning. A place that has helped me build competence, capacity, confidence, character, and companionship. I have had great moments and blissful encounters here. I have enjoyed amazing relationships on this ground. Life here leaves one with refreshing experiences and indelible memories that last a lifetime. Truly, our best memories are the ones we make together here at Landmark University. My name is Jessica. This is my amazing Landmark story.
My name is Albert Mutale, an international student from Zambia.
My name is Greta Armstrong Waeke. I'm an international student from Cameroon.
Hi, my name is Tanjung Fonda, an international student from Zambia.
Every day when I wake up in Landmark University, I already feel at home, even being in Nigeria.
Studying here has been an awesome, destiny-molding, and eye-opening experience for me.
Being in Landmark University has made me realize that just by being in a good environment, good things naturally happen to you.
Thank you, Landmark University, for this awesome opportunity I have had on campus. Meeting all these wonderful people and learning so much in such a short space of time is truly a privilege.
I wasn't sure of what to expect on arrival here, but I just had to travel all the way from Cameroon to come and see what Landmark has to offer.
My spiritual life has been immensely impacted by the biblical teachings and the Bible-based principles and the core values of Landmark University. And I would dare say that I caught my vision by being in Landmark University. And all I would say is, oh, what a joy. What a joy being in Landmark.
This is the amazing Landmark University.
You tell Landmark University!
Tua Totela, Landmark University. My name is Albert Msale, an international student from Zambia.
My name is Greta Armstrong Waeke. I'm an international student from Cameroon.
Hi, my name is Tanjung Fonda, an international student from Zambia.
Every day when I wake up in Landmark University, I already feel at home, even being in Nigeria.
Studying here has been an awesome, destiny-molding, and eye-opening experience for me.
Being in Landmark University has made me realize that just by being in a good environment, good things naturally happen to you.
Thank you, Landmark University, for this awesome opportunity I have had on campus. Meeting all these wonderful people and learning so much in such a short space of time is truly a privilege.
I wasn't sure of what to expect on arrival here, but I just had to travel all the way from Cameroon to come and see what Landmark has to offer.
My spiritual life has been immensely impacted by the biblical teachings and the Bible-based principles and the core values of Landmark University. And I would dare say that I caught my vision by being in Landmark University. And all I would say is, oh, what a joy. What a joy being in Landmark.
This is the amazing Landmark University.
You tell Landmark University!
Tua Totela, Landmark University. My name is Albert Msale, an international student from Zambia.
My name is Greta Armstrong Waeke. I'm an international student from Cameroon.
Hi, my name is Tanjung Fonda, an international student from Zambia.
Every day when I wake up in Landmark University, I already feel at home, even being in Nigeria.
Studying here has been an awesome, destiny-molding, and eye-opening experience for me.
Being in Landmark University has made me realize that just by being in a good environment, good things naturally happen to you.
Thank you, Landmark University, for this awesome opportunity I have had on campus. Meeting all these wonderful people and learning so much in such a short space of time is truly a privilege.
I wasn't sure of what to expect on arrival here, but I just had to travel all the way from Cameroon to come and see what Landmark has to offer.
My spiritual life has been immensely impacted by the biblical teachings and the Bible-based principles and the core values of Landmark University. And I would dare say that I caught my vision by being in Landmark University. And all I would say is, oh, what a joy. What a joy being in Landmark.
This is the amazing Landmark University.
You tell Landmark University!
Tua Totela, Landmark University.
University are hinged on our 7 core values of spirituality, integrity, possibility mentality, capacity building, responsibility, diligence, and sacrifice. Currently, we have a population of about 3,000 students, having graduated 3,000 students across 23 fully accredited programs hosted by the colleges of Agricultural Sciences, Business and Social Sciences, Pure and Applied Sciences, and the College of Engineering. The faculty staff population of Landmark University is about 750, giving us a fair ratio of one faculty of staff to 11 students, thereby creating a very robust and viable atmosphere for interaction between the faculty staff base and the student population. Landmark University is affiliated to quite a number of professional bodies, and we have training certification affiliations with some bodies also. This ensures that persons who go through the Landmark University education do not only graduate with academic qualifications, but also as many professional certifications as they deem necessary. Landmark University is a full-boarding university, and so we call it home away from home because of the in loco parentis role that is played by the faculty and staff of Landmark University. As a parent,
okay, so we'll be starting on how to insert new cases. New cases. But there is an alternative that I preferred, because when you insert cases, we have already learned how to insert variables. If you follow that link, it will give you the case. Follow the link there on the screen. Follow the direction from the screen. You'll be provided on what to do. But this will not, my emphasis is the case where you have anomaly. I want to show us something here. If you follow this one, you go to edit, insert case. It will bring up, if you go to edit, insert cases, on 7, you see, if you click it on 10, it will insert cases on 10. So the same thing we did in inserting variable. That is the same thing. So you highlight where you want the case to be inserted, and then you click to edit, insert cases. Are we there? It will insert the case you want. You see now, it has, maybe you miss something there, you can fill it up. Then, I want us to check something. As I said before, insert cases is easier, you can easily insert. But what if in a case, like if it's questionnaire design, and you notice that instead of 1, you have 11. How are you going to deal with that? So the first thing we have to do now is to look at insert of cases for the data. You go to the data view, and then you highlight where that case needs to be inserted. You know why we are doing that? Let me give you an example. Please listen up. Assuming you have a questionnaire, you are working on analysis. So you divided the questionnaire. You know, when you are distributing questionnaire, you coded it. That is, you number it 1 to 100. So maybe while retrieving the data, there are some people that have not yet submitted their own. Okay? So what it does now, after the analysis, you can now go back and begin to insert those cases. Maybe questionnaire 83 has not been retrieved. Questionnaire 45 have not been retrieved. You go to 46, 44 and highlight 44 and then say insert cases. You can now begin to fill in that 45. Is that understood? See, I did it here with your system. Yes. And I graded 2. Then, most importantly, it's not on the module. What if you have the case where there is appear to be mistake? Instead of to record 1, you record 12. What do? You go to the same data view. You click not string. Click the second or the third toolbar. Click everything here. Then Control F. Control F. Highlight, yes, one of the clicks at the beginning of each. No, you can't do it here because that is string. Then Control F. Maybe it is 11. You just type 11. It will find it. You just simply go to that 11 and then maybe adjust it as 1. The thing has actually helped me because after the analysis, I will see all those things I want to call data cleansing. You cleanse the data, to make sure that everything is okay. Just as the way you insert variables, you can insert cases, and then also you can. This is very important because I've had that issue with students. Instead of 3, is the lady typed 33, so the thing affected our results. So I was like, why the result like this? So when I was going through the data, and I'm fine. And then how are we to find it in the first place? Assuming if it's 800 questionnaires. It's not easy. What you will do, you first of all, by the time we are looking at descriptive statistics, what descriptive statistics will tell us, or clause tabulation, it will tell us 100 people filled, strongly agree. You now see 13 or 33, maybe 1 person. You now know that that value has 33, and maybe it's question 4. You now go to question 4, highlight that question 4, Control F, type 33. It will go to that 33. You change it to 3. If not, it will give you a misleading result. So especially if it's a correlational analysis, where it's supposed to be, maybe p-value is supposed to be less than, it might give you greater than. And that's invalidate the result. So that's what we are going to do. So you highlight that data where it's supposed to be. You click Control F. You look to the case. It might be, because most times, instead of 1, we type 11. Instead of 0, you can type 10. Instead of 2, you type 22. So all those things are key. Because if those cases are not removed, the result will be worthless. It will not reflect what we actually want to do. You understand? So the result must reflect what we actually want to do. So that is. So any question on this one? So before we move forward, so let me repeat that insert is, it might be a case of questionnaire, have 100, and maybe you are in a haste to deliver. So you record, so you remain, you want it to follow normally the way it's supposed to be. And please, when you have questionnaire, before you distribute it, you have first of all number it. If it's 300, number each questionnaire 1 to 300. If you didn't do that, and maybe you are coding, maybe 1 fell off. You wouldn't know which one that fell off. But if it's 1 that fell off, you know I've already handled 1. You move over to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, the first thing, you number it, and then you start decoding consecutively. So what I did sometimes is I'll first of all code in Excel. That is what I do. I code in Excel and then copy it from Excel to SPSS. Why? And I start putting the values. Why? Because most times I'm not the one that code. I don't have the time. I give to students or I pay for people to do that. So when they do, it's easier for them to use Excel. So after that, I will now copy it and start inserting the values one after the other. So it will make it easier for me. Okay, instead of starting from the scratch. So that's how you do it. Please, this is very important for questionnaire design, because if not, assuming if a result is supposed to be 0, 1, 0, 1, and then you have 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, the result will no longer be valid. So all these things has to be checked before you give the final analysis. So let's continue. Wow. We have looked at in certain variables. So that is the way to navigate. Go to variable. These ones are not, because I can easily, most times I don't think I've handled more than 30 variables even if it's questionnaire. So, but in case you have like 200, there are some work that will involve a lot of variables. You can use goto, as is written there. Have goto to where, just like you have in your Excel. You can have goto. It will take you to where you want it to be. But most times I handle 15, 20, 30 variables. So all this aspect is for navigation. So we've not actually started analyzing the data. So all those ones are for the easy navigation, data cleansing. That is cleaning the data to ensure that the analysis will give the desired results. So you use that goto, if you know now to actually, how many variables do you have? 3. You can easily see that 3. So you keep these manuals, and then you jot down some of the things I said so that it will be easier for us. So you have find and replace. The find and replace, I've already said it. The short form is Ctrl F. Or you can see it on the toolbar. Click or find icon on the toolbar. But are you there? Navigation. So it is there on the toolbar, but the short form, the shortcut is Ctrl Find, Ctrl F. It's faster, so that you won't memorize a lot of things in find and replace. So instead of going through, click find menu, click on the find button, you can just highlight that data and click Ctrl F. It will now point you to where you are going, especially for missing data, or when the data is, there is an error in the data. Okay, I think this is this one. Okay, then changing number to text. So you can, just as the way we did for align, whether you are to align left, right, center, you can change the text following the directions there. Have you seen it? This feature is used to convert variables that contain ordinal to their numeric or string values. So, you see it, click that value, it will change that 01 to male, female. It will change it to male, female, you will see it. Have you done that? It will change it to male or female. So if we have used strongly agree, undecided, to show it the same way. Say, okay, this person chose strongly agree, this person chose undecided, this person chose disagree. You click that icon, it will show you male, female. But for the height, I don't think it will give anything because the data is not ordinal. Are we okay? Yeah. Okay. So let's go forward. This is, as I said, handling missing values. There are a lot of ways. It's a course on its own. So when you see missing values, so tomorrow I'll come with the live data. You will see I will intentionally remove some of the data. So the first thing, if it's questionnaire design, the first thing I said is we have to minimize the effect of non-response because it is the non-response that gave birth to missing values. So what we do, we make sure we have trained people that will handle the sharing of the questionnaire. So if you give somebody questionnaire and he couldn't feel some bad, you can say, hello, sorry ma, you've not filled this number 7. The person will go back and fill it. So the first thing we do when we notice missing values is we first of all go back to the questionnaire to know maybe on the process of coding some things were missed out. So that is what the first thing to do. You go back to the questionnaire and do that. Then the second thing, if you check the questionnaire and find out that it was actually a missing value, what you will do is you will replace that missing value by the time you calculate the median. Why am I saying that? Part of the things that led to rejection of that papers are when the reviewers see missing data, missing values. So the missing values will interfere, especially in statistical inference. Let me give you an example. Assuming the sample size is 150 and you are having 50 missing values, obviously it will affect the result. So the first thing is to make sure that it didn't occur in the first place by making sure we obtain the real data the way it's supposed to be. If it is experimental experiment, you check the maybe the machine that is generating the data. Obviously, if the data is supposed to generate data like 7.1, 7.2, and is now generating 18.2, that means something is wrong. You can halt the experiment and make sure that the system is okay and robust enough to generate the data that is needed for the experiment. Is that okay? So, if you submit article, some reviewers don't like seeing missing values because by the time we are looking at the descriptive statistics, you will see SPSS has a way to create a column for missing values. So some reviewers are not okay with that. So you handle the missing values before you submit, you do the analysis to avoid
Yeah, you report it.
So when you do that, you say, I replace that. Okay, we are going for our lunch, so when we come back, they said the food is ready, we can continue. Okay? No, she just informed me now that food is ready, so I don't know the arrangement. Okay. So they are the one in charge, so I will not. Thank you.